Yeah, I know what you mean.
They wanted it to be, yeah.
That's
So the
good.
little store got second page newspaper press. That was cool. They gave us a little story, and that was helpful.
Cool.
But otherwise, we're just kind of hanging here doing this and staying busy.
Good.
Yeah,
So
doing a
you're,
lot of remote.
yeah, I was going to ask you, is your remote's still going strong?
Still going really strong. I keep finding new things to remote into. It's really exciting.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, like, when people call, you're trying to figure out like how to like, okay, you try to figure out their service need. Like, how am I going to service this person when they call in?
Right.
Well, like, of course, for the store here, there is no remote, but oddly, people come in with no computer, and then that's when we can also pitch them the remote. So it's kind of like the interview process, Steve. When you take a call, they're like, well, I have a slow internet. Well, that's an immediate, we do it remotely because we can. It
Right.
just takes a little extra time to get connected. Or we'll say, they might say, oh, my printer's having problems. Easy remote job. You would not want someone to bring in their computer and their printer into your
Right.
store anyway.
Right. Right.
When 90% of the time it's a bad driver
Huh.
or they have a stuck queue or,
Right.
something's not spooling.
Okay.
So printers, we almost automatically always schedule a remote job. We do all the virus ones first that way. And if we can't finish it remotely, then we have them bring to our store or we go to their house. In the smaller towns, it's nice to do the home visits, because they're so close.
Really?
My Minneapolis store, my techs sometimes end up driving kind of far out, but it
Yeah.
ain't that bad. But the interview process is really what is awesome about remote support because you can figure out your day a little bit better, like because you can schedule remote supports and do stuff on the bench at the same time
Right.
because no one's at the bench in your store to, be watching. You can do those in your time that you are doing the remotes.
Exactly.
My tech sometimes works on 4 or 5 machines at once and does remotes.
That's pretty
Mm-hmm.
good for him. Well,
Oh yeah.
that's definitely multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Like, what are some of your interview process techniques?
Well, like if they call in and we try to like to say determine it, like blue screen of death, that when we turn it into a different kind of interview. Like, have you plugged anything in lately? Like a new printer or a new USB stick or something, or do you have one plugged in now? We kind of figure out, to see if we can get their computer back on, before we say bring it in. I
Right.
mean, that can help because if they happen to have like a USB stick in, they take it out and reboot and they're like, oh my God, it works. Well, obviously, it was the stick.
Right.
And that's, well, when was the last time you had a tune-up done? Well, it's been a long time or never. We hear that a lot. And if people know that we do remote tune-ups, it's we turned it from a blue screen of death possibly to just a tune-up, and I mean, we don't want to charge people for telling them to take out a stick.
Right. Right.
I mean, that's kind of the free stuff we do, which helps people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
'Cause I think that's a good idea too. We'll remember to call you next time they have a problem. But in your notes here, you say how do you turn in your interview process how to turn a tire kicker into a client? Is that what you mean by doing that when they call for one
kind
thing?
of, yeah, it's like they're tire kicking. A lot of times they do too. Like they're calling and say, "What do you charge for this?" And we've got pretty set rates. But if they're like, well, how much you charge to fix a printer? Well, the one thing that we've said is, you know what? We have kind of a flat fee for printer repairs of $79 because it can take us 2 or 3 hours to fix it and that covers it. Or sometimes it's a 15-minute fix and then, then we kind of win on that.
Right.
But if it's always less than 45 minutes, we only will charge that amount of time.
I got you.
So then people are happy because they're not paying as much. Our minimum is now $39.
What does that cover?
15 minutes.
Gotcha.
But my remote techs and myself, we're pretty fast now.
Yeah.
I mean, we are fast, yeah, because we've all been doing it so aggressively. So
Yeah.
yeah, we get remoted in. That takes the longest time sometimes to fix something.
And then you're cruising.
Yeah.
Damn. You guys are good now.
Yeah, it's what you got a strong team to do, They all learn from each other and they know the fixes. They've done them enough that they're like, I got to get in to do it.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, it's hard to walk someone through a printer repair. I don't like it.
I know.
But,
I know. I've done some of those over the phone jobs. I mean, if people could only film the faces people make doing an over the phone job, it's grimacing a lot of times.
You have to have a lot of patience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been pushed to my limit before when someone will do something and I'll be like, I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't tell you to do that. Oh no. And you're dreading it knowing it's going to be another 15 minutes.
Right.
And
Oh man, it sucks.
and as soon as you're on a slow connection, so it can get real tedious and it's just but it's part of the job.
Yeah.
Just like any other job. Some any office job you don't like what you're doing maybe.
Totally.
But, so I think back to the interview process thing that turns a tire kicker in is that we try to sell our clients. We don't get many tire kickers because we have a really good interview process. It's like we ask them the right questions. We give them a little customer service that another shop might not give them. Like, oh, that's $125 an hour, then that's it. But we kind of interview them and talk to them. And then they start to feel that personal relationship.
Right.
And that's what hooks them, I think.
So is that like something you train your guys to do?
Yeah.
Cool.
They're all customer service specialists.
Nice.
They don't like that, but they are. I mean, they like it, but they didn't, not a lot of techs are specialists in customer service.
Right.
But I make them all do that. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm not going to ask you specifically because it's probably in your book, right? But I was going to ask you, like, what do you have the guys say specifically? Like, we could just tease the folks with this or what?
Tease. Well, like I said, the interview process is I don't mind talking about that. It's just we ask the questions. Are you backing up your data? And they're like, what do you mean? And that gives us an opportunity to talk to them about their data. Do you have a lot of pictures, memories? You'd be really upset if your hard drive crashed and you couldn't get it back. These are things that get you to talk to the client. See?
I gotcha.
And the remote stuff, it might take us 5 to 8 minutes to book the appointment, but we talk about data backup, we talk about our antivirus protection plan, and we talk about the repair, and then we figure out what we can fix and how much it's going to be. By that time, it's already like a booking.
Nice. And how long do you usually book people in advance? I mean, you obviously don't want them waiting a couple days. Like, do you try to do it the same day or?
So, we have a live help desk now. They can call anytime.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So when they book an appointment, I mean, when they call, they're getting service.
Well, they can do it two ways. They can book an appointment, which we do a lot of, and they can just get help right now.
Sweet.
And sometimes if we're too busy, we'll say, hey, can we call you in a half hour?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You don't have a recording that says all of our associates are busy right now due to high traffic. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we have a voicemail system, and I don't like it, but sometimes we both are on the phone. I mean, I've got one BlackBerry for one tech, and I got my BlackBerry that's the command center BlackBerry. So this is how it's run.
Is it ringing right now? It went on. Oh.
No, this is just how my world runs. Is off BlackBerry. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we have one phone in the store that doesn't ring, and it's outbound only for emergency.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing to do. Less distraction.
Yeah, well, my security set up through it and the DSL line and everything else, but
yeah.
Others we're mobile. If it's a bad snowy day, tech has this at home.
That's nice. That sounds like you're doing this right, Lisa. I like it.
Yeah, it's been fun because this is a business model that really anybody could do, and it was just kind of just happened to work out. There wasn't like a big plan,
Right. Well, you keep adding to it, and it seems like you're finding out what works and what doesn't work, and just keeping the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I made sure that all the techs know remote support, and the unexpected win I had was finding a Mac tech that knows. Well, I trained him on remote. He knows Mac, so now any Macintosh calls we get, we book on him.
Really?
On his calendar. Mm-hmm.
He just came out of the blue, or what?
Well, that was the intern that actually asked me to open the other store.
Nice.
He wanted to do in-shop Mac repair because there was no Mac repair in that town.
Right.
And I said, well, you're going to learn remote. And he did.
Yeah, it's been working
Mac,
out?
Though, too. I'm sorry?
It's been working out? Remote Mac support?
There's a lot of cool stuff that people don't realize that Mac people might need done. A lot of it is minor glitches, and there are some tune-ups that need to be done. And printer issues, and set up the airports and time machine, and a lot of stuff people don't understand how to do.
Yeah, and you know what? For Apple being quote so easy to use, some of those networking things are a pain. I mean, I even had trouble hooking up my Airport Express.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you call that girl?
I did. I made sure I got your Mac guy.
Yeah, we interview for those two to make sure, but yeah, we get enough Mac calls. It's a good service.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Another thing you have here is how to determine if a client is a good prospect for a remote job instead of coming into the shop. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, like there's some people that you absolutely you could tell right away on the phone that they're not going to be able to do the web browser, like to put in the code and get connected, and we almost never do it with people that aren't. You could tell just by listening to them that, how about a home visit? Sometimes even better.
Right.
Or, do you want to bring it to us? And they're like, yep, just come out. And they're the ones that are really thankful for the home visits. And we charge more, but there's no drama for them.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So, again, that's part of our interview process. We do that for all the stores.
Huh. That's pretty smart.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is too. And that's where kind of, the next thing I was going to talk about is how to get your brain out of shop mode and into the virtual mode.
Yeah. What's that about?
Part of what we're doing is talking to people and understanding if they can understand what we're doing. And most people can. So you don't want to waste, of course, time trying to book someone for a remote job when, you're like, they're the type of person that wants home service and they're going to pay. We've got some people, some of our clients are so into this remote support that if I've actually had a client this week that figured out 3 times a way to get us remoted in because he did not want to bring it to us. And we were like, you got to bring it to us. It's really bad. And he was like, nope. And he figured out a way to get it connected.
Really?
Yeah, he was driven. His internet browsers wouldn't open because of a virus. So then he went and somehow, and we talked him through lots of stuff. Go install it from another drive, or a USB from another computer. He finally got Safari to work. So we could remote in that way.
On a PC?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was determined. He didn't want to bring it in. So it's kind of like we've trained our clients that remote support is like the best way.
Yeah. Well, probably once they get it one time, they're like, this is the only way I'm going to fly now.
It's teasing them, kind of like, oh, you bring the shop. It's so 1950s.
Yeah, seriously. Really? Are you still using Log Me and Rescue?
Yep.
Yeah, and you're liking it still?
Still, yep.
Good.
I've been working with them for a while. I had some issues over potential new, like businesses, there's contracts you have to do and stuff, but I still hands down think it's a really good program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried that Screen Connect and you know what? I couldn't even figure out how to do it, so I was like, I ain't doing it. Yeah. I don't have a server.
I called support with them. Once I got it hooked up and running the way I wanted, it was smooth as butter. And you could customize it, you could brand it. You know what I mean? So I thought it was cool, but it's different. It's a different animal than the Log Me and Rescue.
I could probably do it next year.
Yeah. Yeah,
we don't even have a server in my company. We use Dropbox. That's our server.
Really?
We use it heavily too. So for me, maybe next year we could do a server and get all set up and then get off it. But you know what? I don't know a lot about the Screen Connect, unfortunately, because to me, I've read about it on a few forums and a lot of people like it. I just personally, I don't have time to mess with training new people.
I would say I would say go with what works. If your Log Me is working for you, keep it. I mean, if you have no problems with it.
I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But I figure it's a write-off.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the way? To me, I've got everybody trained on it, and we can flip each other. Computer's so nice. Can you do that on Screen Connect?
I haven't used it too much. I mean, I tested it out here personally with like 4 computers, but that was just it. But
really,
I didn't do any jobs with it because I don't have any customers anymore. But
yeah, no. Poor Steve. Poor Steve has no one to try it out with. You can always remote it in my computer.
Yeah, well, let's see. Let me know if you test it out, what you think about it.
You know what the thing is that here's the thing is I have not seen that if you can do that or not. Flip each other computers and have multiple techs and all that stuff, and that's
I'm pretty
really
sure
my next person I hire, Steve, is going to be a remote tech because I got 3 stores, right?
Right.
And again, when computers come in the shop, if it's on the internet, one of my techs at another store can log into a bench machine.
Right.
and
Right.
do half the work for the other techs,
Yeah.
in that shop. So right now, my third store